favorite airplanes that's on here is, of course, the F-16. It had its first flight in January of 1974 at Edwards Air Force Base, and that's actually an interesting story in itself. Probably something for another video. But I got to Edwards in 1985 and started working on the test program in 1986. And I was working on a system called the Low Altitude Navigation Targeting Infrared for Night, which was bringing night capability, very impressive night capabilities to the F-16, which is pretty interesting because the original F-16 was intended only to fly during the day. In fact, the original F-16 did not even have a landing light on it because it was supposed to fly only during the day. And it was added as kind of an afterthought. But it shows how, an airplane gets, flies its first flight at Edwards, perhaps, or lands at Edwards after its first flight. They do the initial testing, and then the airplane continues to evolve. And almost every aircraft that's become a production aircraft that was tested at Edwards continues to undergo testing at Edwards and at other locations at times as that system matures and as they make updates to it to keep it a competitive aircraft. So, for example, the F-16 had its first flight, as I mentioned, in 1974. So here we are half a century later, and they are still testing the F-16 at Edwards Air Force Base. I think the F-16 has been very popular because, first of all, it's a great little airplane that it's relatively inexpensive to operate, and it's got a lot of good capability. It's not as capable, say, as the F-15 in certain areas, but it's a great gap filler, and like I said, it doesn't cost a lot of money to operate. It's been very popular with our foreign partners. A lot of foreign sales, and a lot of our partners have actually put additional modifications onto the F-16 and that we have, in some cases, been able to adopt ourselves as well within the United States. So it's just been a great aircraft, not just for the United States, but all over the world. So I've told you about my favorite airplane on this board. Do you have a favorite airplane on this board and maybe a story that goes with that airplane? We'd love to hear about it in the comments.